Been doing practice for a few weeks and my score won't go up. Any tips? Well, Samantha, I'd like to know what the score is that won't go up because, you know, we may not need it to go up. So I'd like to be in the mid 70s. Here's a tip I give to a lot of people who seem to be stuck in the mud a little bit. Um, Take a day off, refresh, reset, because, burnout is real and you might be just trying too hard. I had a guy today and I said, listen, I wouldn't be surprised. I said, when you come back from your vacation, I said, first thing I want you to do is a practice test. And I know this is going to sound weird, but I wouldn't be surprised if your score goes up just because your brain's laying fallow. And I think you might be a little too close to that. That depends on your timing. You can't do that. We have people here tonight who are testing tomorrow. Don't refresh and reset, but that's one thing I would say is take a break. You shouldn't be doing more than one a day. Sometimes I find out that, people's score won't go up and they tell me, I did 4 tests today and I got the same score. I'm like, oh my God. So sometimes, Samantha, the issue could be you're not doing proper remediation. You're not going through your wrong answers, going back to the textbook, going back to a video and remediating. You should spend as much time remediating a practice test as doing the practice test. So I would recommend refresh and reset, and then make sure you're doing a better job. I don't know what you're doing, so you're already doing this, but try and do a better job on remediation of each of those scores. Brian?
Yeah, we go through, and this is really important stuff. You and I go through this a lot, right? Because we want to make sure that people properly, because you're in the last 7 to 10 days before your exam, theoretically, and you're starting with the practice finals. But some people just do practice finals for the purpose of doing practice finals, right? Without, as Dean said, without proper remediation. That's the key to it. And that's oftentimes why people are stuck in that mud, right? So after the simulated exam, you run the performance tracker. Kaplan has it. I think STC has it. I think most of them have it nowadays, right? Because that will then break your score out into the different units. You find your weak areas. Use the video course on those particular weak areas. Then you can do a custom quiz. Now, I also like, because with my video course, I have class notes, and you can kind of use it as a cheat sheet as you're going through these custom quizzes. Now, it's important because you've probably already been through 1,000 of these things, 10 to 12 questions on the particular unit. You don't want to do 75 on mutual funds. It's because you're going to get too far in the weeds, right? And if you need some additional background, you can go back into the text, read a couple of paragraphs, right? In Kaplan, it's like Unit 2, Section 3. It's like 2.3. So you know exactly where in the textbook to go if you just want a reminder. So that's how you remediate these weak areas. So you take the simulated exam, you review it, and then spend the next day, next couple, 3-4 hours remediating, and then the following day you can do another simulated exam. You never take more than one exam a day.
Yeah, and Samantha, we don't know what your score is, but the other thing I would say, the guy today who I was talking to, he didn't have enough knowledge base because he was stuck below 60, and that just means he hasn't laid the base knowledge.
Wow.
So that score depends, right? If you tell me we don't know what your score is, listen, you don't have to put it in chat. The chat is not private. But I would say to you, if it's below 60, you need to stop and lay more base by reading, by watching videos, because you lack base. Below 60 means you don't know what you're being asked and you don't know what answers are being offered to you. If you're in the 60 plus range, at least you know what you're being asked and have a recognition of the answers being offered to you. So a little more data. If we had more data, maybe we could be a little more helpful on that.